episode of Chatty Broads with Bekah and Jess.
Wakey, wakey. Eggs and bacon.
Chatty brosies.
We here.
Everyone just go, I'm so tired.
Snooze.
I don't want to do anything.
Do you ever snooze? How old was Ember when you were first just I don't care. Go out in the living room, do whatever you want. I'm just going to sleep in bed for like another 15 minutes.
That was
It's younger than you want to admit.
It's younger than you want to admit, but I will say this, Ember does not make it easy to do that. Like if I say, Ember, go do whatever you want, she'll be like, cool. And then she'll come back in 2 minutes and be like, what are you guys doing?
I'll hear
There is no I'm just going to go do my own thing. There's you need to be a part of this.
There's Ruth and Frank. I'll be like, guys, just go get your babies or something. Just go play with your toys for 15 minutes. Because Becca's gone right now. So I'm like, dude, set 5:45, 6:15 with Frank. I'm like, you guys just go play with your toys. I'll be right out. And then all of a sudden I'll have this crippling anxiety of is one of them choking to death?
Right.
Or I'll be or you just hear this intense crash, boom, bang. And you're like, what the hell are you guys doing? What is going on? Furniture, you hear furniture moving around.
Oh, they're like, okay, cool. You want to let us do this? We'll let you have that penalty.
License to kill, baby.
We're going to ruin your life.
Yeah. Every drawer's in 3 minutes. Every drawer is open. All the contents of every drawer are out.
Dude, we spent Saturday. Was it Saturday? Saturday or Sunday, we cleaned for 7 hours. And today it looks like we did nothing.
That's why I argue, what is the point?
Because you don't want to live in filth, and so you the filth gets so bad the clothes are packed so high, the toys are everywhere. You clean up, you feel amazing, and then 48 hours later, it looks exactly like you started, and you're like, how do I keep above this?
There are times where I feel just like Brian with his bunnies, where I'm like, let's just move away from all our stuff. It's the bunnies, where you're like, the bunnies are a problem. I'm just going to move away from
Brian,
this house.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah.
You moved because the bunnies were too bad.
To me, it feels easier sometimes to be weighing the options of find a new place to live and just leave everything that I currently have here. And then I'll just start new somewhere else.
I do love the idea of someone going, why'd you move? You're like, the mess was too big in the house. We just left everything.
I didn't want to clean that house.
The clothes, the toys, we left it all.
Or just incinerate the mess.
Yeah.
Just all that stuff. I don't actually want to go through it. Just burn all of it.
Burn it all.
But just burn it all and start from new. I'll just get all new clothes, all new toys.
Right. It's too much.
All new. Isn't that funny how I still think of my stuff as clothes and toys.
Right. Yeah. My toys.
I have all my toys, all my things, all my clothes.
Adult toys surfboards.
Yeah.
Whatever. Well, I'm excited for today. I feel like you guys are in for, it's going to be awesome because we have Thomas Dale on, who is a clairvoyant medium.
Comedian.
Yeah. You like that?
He's how do you get clairvoyant in there?
Clairvoy comedian? Clairvoy medium? Clairvoy medium. Yeah, comedian. Clairvoy median.
Huh? Yeah.
Okay. I'm here all week. Well, I think this is cool because, he was on the podcast a year and a half ago during the middle of the pandemic with the Broads, and the podcast was awesome. People loved it. He was amazing. And so he was so great when me and Jess were talking about the guests and stuff, and it was oh my gosh, we'd have him on. And he is hilarious. He's got just such a great energy. So I think he's going to be rad.
We're excited. I'm nervous, but excited.
Yeah. Are you open?
I'm here.
Right.
I'm willing to do this. So we're going to see how it goes.
You're like, my body is here. And that's half the journey.
I'm here.
This is going to be awesome, man. We've talked a lot about recently, us opening up, and, Gray did past life regression, doing some therapy, just being more open guys. And I think it's really helped our lives. I know it's helped my relationship. It's helped my personal life. It's helped how I've processed things and people and all that stuff. And so I think this is just another version of that, which is just connecting with yourself, with others, letting someone speak into your life, which is huge, you know? So I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm nervous, but that's excitement and nerves are very closely tied.
What are you nervous about?
Oh, I don't know. It's like the same, like when I did the past life regression, it's like, I don't know what the fuck is going to come up. What's he going to tap into where I'm just like suddenly like confronted with some shit that might be like, you know, like, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to come up.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea. There's a lot of weird, you know, after 30 something years, there's stuff.
Yeah. And like with your past life, it's a little bit like you didn't think you would be bawling.
No, I did
so
not.
You're just kind of like, oh, it'll be interesting. And next thing you know, you're bawling, which can be kind of heavy and wild. So you're like,
I don't need that. I'm just like, I
don't need that right now.
Yeah.
You're crying. You're like, hey man, I don't need this right now. I don't know why you're doing this. Well, we're pumped. It's gonna be awesome. He's awesome. So, open your minds, bros. Open your minds.
Join us on this magic carpet ride.
Into our lives, our minds, and we're excited. It's gonna be awesome. All right, let's jump in with him.
Okay, broads, quick pause. By the way, you did not read your calendar wrong. No, you're not tripping out. It's not actually Friday. It is Thursday. The Bros episode, it came on Thursday this week, but don't worry. Bekah and myself have our Chatty Broads episode coming out tomorrow, and oh my goodness, you do not want to miss this one. But before we dive into this incredible episode with Thomas Dale, I have to tell you my jaw was on the floor listening to this episode. We need to chat for a second. If you listen to this podcast at all, you probably know that I have had many years worth of struggles battling my thinning hair. When I tell you I have tried everything under the sun over the years, I'm not exaggerating. Nothing worked for me until I started to use Vegamore, and oh my goodness, there's a reason that my hair is longer now because it's finally growing. I love Vegamore.
Vegamore. I freaking love Vegamore. They have crafted a clean, vegan approach to hair health, and they use smart botanicals to promote visibly thicker, fuller, longer looking hair. So when I've been focused on growing my hair out for the past 4 years since Ruth was born, I've been using Vegamore, and it really makes a huge difference. They've got the Grow Revitalizing Shampoo and Conditioner Kit. They're really easy to integrate into your hair routine. I need something that's going to be really simple to do every day if I'm going to stick to it. But so all I had to do was swap out my regular products, and the results were really noticeable in just a few weeks.
Honestly, if I hadn't seen the results myself, I would probably be a little bit skeptical. It sounds too good to be true, but really Vegamore, it's just that good. It's been so good to me. So good, in fact, that 91% of customers say they saw visibly thicker hair after using Vegamore for just 90 days. I'm one of those people. Hi, hello. But if you give it a try and you don't see the results you were hoping for, there's no risk because Vegamore comes with a full money-back guarantee.
Oh, also, their dry shampoo is incredible. No nasty synthetic fragrances. I don't feel like I'm choking on the fumes. So try that as well. Anyway, give your hair exactly what it's been craving with Vegamore. Go to vegamour.com/chatty. Use code chatty to save 20% on your order. That's vegamour.com/chatty. Code chatty to save 20% at vegamour.com/chatty.
So there's pretty much only one guaranteed way to my heart, and that is with sweet, sweet dessert, baby. But not just any dessert will do. I mean, I love all treats, but there's one company that does cakes, cookies, and desserts better than anyone else, and that is Milk Bar. Ever since 2008, James Beard award-winning celebrity chef Christina Tossi has been reinventing what dessert looks and tastes like with her unique and iconic flavors. It doesn't get much better than Milk Bar, if you ask me. It's the best. It's just the best.
Okay, if you're new to the world of Milk Bar, prepare for a whole new experience of desserts. Please try their salty sweet compost cookie. It is my favorite. But they've got other famous bestsellers too, like the Milk Bar Pie. It's made with a toasted oat crust and a decadent gooey butter filling. Truly perfection. And for a limited time, you can try their newest offering, strawberry shortcake truffles. Oh my goodness, that is literally the perfect sounding summertime dessert, if you ask me.
Milk Bar even offers fast overnight nationwide delivery. More than once, Milk Bar Overnight Delivery has come to the rescue when events or birthdays have slipped your girl's mind, and I'm in quick need of a special something that says I absolutely did not forget to get you a gift. And nothing says that better than a gift tin or specialty cake from Milk Bar. It's always a hit.
Oh, and right now, Milk Bar has a special limited time offer. You can get $10 off any order of $50 or more when you go to milkbarstore.com/chatty. You'll get $10 off an order of $50 by going to milkbarstore.com/chatty. milkbarstore.com/chatty.
Hello.
How are you? Oh, wait, hold on. Let me make sure this is connected properly. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I had that in the right one. And my sound is good because I have it rigged because I'm traveling. So now it's like I have it hanging. So
Where are you?
I'm in North Carolina right now. I'm like seeking the mountains. Asheville. Have you ever heard of Asheville?
Oh, yeah. Beautiful there.
Yeah, so I drove out. I did another cross-country trip with my dog, and I'm like looking at Asheville, I needed to like get in the mountain vibe. I needed the new energy. You know, LA was just I subletted my place, so I'm going back, but I just was like, I have to explore while I'm like taking a step away from comedy. I have to explore this and put myself in a new environment.
Well,
So-
Asheville is certainly a new environment from
1,000%. Oh my God. Yeah. So Asheville and also Wilmington too. I'm staying at, my friend has a house in Wilmington. So
Yeah.
Wow. The South.
yeah, it's the real South. And my dog is loving it because Truth, stop that. Licking his balls. Well, it's even his old balls, you know, the area they used
his
to
ghost
be in.
balls.
Yeah.
Phantom balls.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome, man. That's, I think that's so important.
It is. I mean, I feel like when you can make yourself uncomfortable, that's how you grow. And, you know, like you have to take yourself out of comfortable situations. Every time I've ever grown the most, it's been because like I would put myself in a situation that I didn't know what I was even doing, you know?
Yeah.
I just knew I needed to pack my car and go.
But our art teacher in college would say,
Really?
yeah, it's like if you're trying to figure out a subject, they were like, don't go with what makes you feel safe. They were like, do what you're afraid of, what makes you uncomfortable. That's where your expression really is like, oh, I'm a little afraid of that.
Yeah, totally puts you on edge.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
I don't even think we need an intro at this point now because it's kind of like I was going to do this. Hey, everybody, welcome. But you know what? We're already rolling. I don't want to kill the energy.
Right.
Awesome.
That amazing voice you hear is Thomas Dale.
You're a sweetie.
And you know, he was on the pod. How long has it been? Like a couple years?
Oh my God. I mean, we were in the peak of pandemic. I had a ponytail. I had a party pony. Everyone was calling it. We were in the peak of pandemic. I had just stopped. I stopped doing comedy and I started just doing all my like clairvoyant work and really like diving into what even the gifts that I had were.
Yes.
You know, so the girls were, I think one of the first podcasts I had done, I did a couple of other podcasts doing readings with friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's been such a journey. I mean, it's gone from like pure mediumship to clairvoyance to unveiling people's truth to like, to figuring out what the gifts that I've always felt were, like, what are they exactly? And doing it through work. And it's been trippy while also coming off of SSRIs, which are like antidepressants. I was on those for a long time. And I realized I'm not mentally unwell. I'm just connected. And all the things I feel and I'm experiencing were always just part of the gifts that I had. But of course, you know, medicine and doctors and all that, they want to say, oh, you're manic, or you're this. Oh, it's like, no, motherfucker, I'm just feeling the truth. And like, you know, like I'm just feeling people's like souls or spirits or energy, whatever word people have to use to understand it. That's what I'm doing. So of course you're going to feel a little crazy.
I'm sure that's overwhelming. Yeah. Like this sense, like, God, I got too much going on in my mind. Maybe I'm just, you know, who knows what I have, blah, blah, blah. But if you're not thinking in terms of what you're doing, which is what you're doing, you're just thinking, yeah, I'm just too scattered, or I have too much going on in my brain and I need help, kind of thing.
Well, it's like, imagine just like the regular, normal human stuff that we feel of just having to pay your bills, or just wanting to be loved, or wanting to, you know, have companionship or success in your career. That's the normal stuff. Then on top of it, you're like reading people's minds, or like feeling people's energy. Like there were times where even in the readings that I would do, sometimes I would hear their thought And I thought they would say it out loud, and I would say something back to them in what they had said. And they're like, how did you know? I didn't say that. And I was like, are you sure you didn't say that? Because I clearly heard it. So that's clairaudient, that's called. I didn't even know I was doing that. So then I looked back at my life and I realized I'd been doing that with friends too. And I thought they were gaslighting me. Right. Meanwhile, I was just hearing their thoughts.
Wow.
And go ahead.
So many questions.
It's fascinating, isn't it? It's
my jaw is
like,
just sort of like the amount of things you've described that I'm like, what are you talking about?
I know.
Where I'm like,
I know. How do you think I feel? Like it would be happening to me, you know?
Yeah.
So you were so because I was unfamiliar with the episode you did with the girls. So Evan was trying to explain to me.
Well, what I want to say, just at least for the audience at this point, before we continue, is just that he was on the podcast. He was amazing. And then, we were talking about what we wanted to talk about. And I was talking to Jess and you came up again and we were like, oh my God, we should have him on for us because we're such a different speed. We're such a different, personalities. Like, and I will say this too, like, I'll just speak for myself. I am vastly less experienced with this type of thing.
The way that I am picturing this is like, have you seen the movie What Women Want?
The original one, right? Not the one. There's What Women Want and What Men Want, right? There's two versions.
The original one, What Women Want, where he can hear women's thoughts.
Right.
Yes. Oh my God, it's like that, but not as like
extreme.
On the nose. Exactly.
Not as Hollywood, but
exactly. It's like that, a little grittier, a little more like, am I feeling this or am I paranoid? You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of thing. And then like what my point was about, like saying how when I started doing these readings is when I realized that's what was happening. Because then I was consciously trying, you know what I'm saying? Like doing it. Whereas before it was just, I'm just good socially. I know what I can make everyone feel happy because I already know what they're feeling. So then I started living my life almost like it's like a people pleaser, but it was like, no, I feel almost obligated because I can feel what someone's feeling. So every person, every human I encounter, whether it's a stranger or someone I know, a homeless person even, I'll feel what they're feeling in that moment and kind of just adjust to that because I want, of course, as humans, you want people to feel nice, right? You don't want to hurt them. So I would just adjust. Then even like with a lot of friends, I would play, sometimes I would have to like act stupid because who wants the guy who like feels everything that they're thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
we
huge.
like our secrets.
Which, I mean, like again, I have so many questions too, so we got to chill out because I can like, feel them building.
No,
we're gonna have 100 of them. To piggyback off of what you just said, are you currently, if you don't mind me asking, are you in a relationship or are you single right now?
Single.
Okay,
so the first time I'm open to being, because relationships have been hard for me because of this.
This is the question I had was like, it's almost like a version of being a therapist for 30 years and then having a partner where it's like anything they say, you feel like you probably know some sort of line or some sort of, oh, well, this is how you should be, or here, let me fix you, or, whatever.
Of course.
But this is another level where it's like you're dealing on the spiritual end of things. So where I bet a partner could feel, and maybe they don't even feel this, but you're at least feeling like they would feel this, which is I can't really get away from you, or I can't create mystery, or I can't create a good boundary because you kind of are always sensing what I'm feeling. So then you're always going to be A, try not to judge someone, B, try not to overly be there. All that stuff. That's just kind of like in my space. You're kind of in my brain, like how is that?
Well, to put it to you this way, I've only had one serious relationship my whole life because of that. And that was like, we were together for about 4 years. That almost put me like away, like in a mental institution. Like there's a story I did on Comedy Central and it's online, and that it was about that experience and about me being able to feel the truth. And this was like, while I was in comedy, before I was even doing any of this as like work, I would say, I feel the truth. So they put me on medication to subside that. And so that was my last relationship, to answer that question, because it was so intense for me and so real. And there would be times because, again, you don't want the person to feel that way. So you have to, I've like trained myself to not, to just ignore it or to just ask,
can you turn it off?
I don't know. I think the way I've learned to turn it off is to kind of just push it, so like suppress it or like
think about something else.
Think about something else.
if you're at, what were they, SSRIs? Do they suppress it?
I don't know what they did to me, to be honest. Those things just do, they like mess up everything. So I've been off now for 15 months and it's been a journey, a struggle, just trying to get myself back. I feel more open since I have come off of them. I do feel more, I don't know necessarily if I could focus more, but I do feel more open when I'm not taking those. And I was only taking those for 3 years. I've been on and off of them for like 15 years. But like I would go in phases. This time I was like, I just want to be completely natural, completely pure. Let my body, my mind, I'm mind, body, soul. That's the goal, by the way, for every human, is to get your mind, body, and soul. So your body is your genetics, your DNA, your hormones, your endocrine system, your central nervous system, your mind, obviously, that's your brain, and your soul is just the energy that connects to your brain when you're born and activates your consciousness. So you want to get those three in line to feel like, to have like your true existence of what you're supposed to be doing on earth, to not have all the anxiety, the frustrations, to go down the right paths. People that are always succeeding, they just have their mind, body, and soul in alignment, and they're just walking through life. Things are just happening for them, you know? But then there's environment, there's all kinds of things that affect you. There's the zodiac. When you're put onto earth, all the planets that are in a certain position in the universe, which we know exists, the galaxies, the universe that we're in, you're now a human on a planet that's in that galaxy. So astrology is just a simplistic, cartoonish way to explain to humans how your brain was affected by those planets. Because your brain's still developing for like about a year, right? After you're born.
Well, I personally believe that NASA's lying to us and that there are no stars. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm hearing all this. I'm like, I'm just trying to brush my teeth twice a day.
I love that. I would love to. I would love that.
Balanced diet. I'm like, you're talking about all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm literally just like, I had 3 cups of coffee? Yes. And did I have, am I going to eat? What am I going to have for lunch? And like, what's the status on my laundry? Well, let alone mind, body, soul.
It's interesting the way you talk, because I feel like there's a slight bit of this with Jess. Mm-hmm. Jess is super tied in. And I'm not saying, I don't know what abilities wise, but like, I just see it all the time with her, that when she goes into a room, she's the classic person that gets cornered by the person you don't want to be cornered by at the party, because she's so like tuned into everyone that she will be like, oh, are you okay too? And then they're like, no. And then she's like, oh shit, now I'm stuck with this person for 3 hours, because she's just always thinking about everyone else's feelings all the time, because she can read them really well. And because of that, she's extremely loved. She's awesome with friends, but at the same time, she can be tortured.
100%. And if I remember correctly, I believe she's a Libra, because I remember everybody's sign. The moment I know their sign once, I remember it for the rest of my life. Like it's insane. It's like, it's a really insane thing. But Libra women are very connected like that. A lot of the Libra women that I've met in my life, and of course, not to generalize or blanket, but many of them that I have that ability to like manifest things and to read people and to feel their energy. So Libra women have that.
Wow.
What signs are you? Is there a Cancer? Are any of you a Cancer?
Are you?
No, I'm a Libra.
You're a Libra. Oh, okay. What are you?
Aquarius.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But I think I'm club January 21. So I think that's like border.
That's cusp. That's almost Capricorn. Because I was going to say there is a little more earth energy that comes from you. That's why when you said Aquarius, I was like, oh, interesting. Yeah. So when people are close to that, you're still getting a little bit of the effects of when the sun was in Capricorn, Aquarius kind of Capricorn. So you're still getting that. So you're probably torn between feeling rooted, grounded, stable, wanting stability, but also the freedom and, being able to like let your mind go wild, but also wanting that groundedness.
That is literally me to a T. Like my biggest, I literally feel like 2 people stuck in one body. Like half of me is like a complete artist.
Oh yeah.
Like, I just want to like travel the world and make art, have no responsibilities, literally fuck off and just think and dream. And then the other half of me is just deadlines, workaholic. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like
keep your money tight.
I just obsessed with like, keep going. You can't give up, all that shit. Yep. And so I'm constantly feel like I'm in battle with my own self.
Exactly. Yeah. That is the qualm of an Aquarius Capricorn cusp. literally, you know. And Libra, you have such a Libra face, I can't even deal with you because Libras, yeah, it's so true. Like, because Libras have, especially the Libra boys, they have like, you know, very like charming, sweet, like almost like a baby face, like a very sweet little baby face. And it's got a prettiness to it too, because Libras have a
pretty boy. I love that.
Yeah, because they do. Their ruling planet is Venus, so that's the planet of like beauty and love and all that. And so you do have that Libra vibe. But they also, the Libra boys, they're good. They come off sweet and good, and they are very kind and good. But they have a little bad boy side to them. The Libra boys.
Ooh, the dark side. We're like Anakin Skywalker.
Wow,
a little bad boy.
I feel like that's pretty dead on. You are definitely sweet, but you definitely can be crazy.
You know what? He wasn't bad. He brought balance.
Mm-hmm.
He did bring balance. He had his flirt. With, you know, and they call it, you know, maybe it's his college phase.
Right.
But then
he was on the dark side murdering people.
At the end of it, he's like, oh yeah, I do love my son. And then he threw the dark guy off the bridge, and that was it, you know, and redemption.
Right.
And that's why they're desired though too. Like, you know, anyone who really likes that, like, oh, what is that? Is that sweet? Is it dark? What? It's like they love, you know, people love that. So, you know, you probably never found it hard to find a partner.
Well, it's funny because like he's always talking when we talk about personalities, like everything we said about Evan. I was just so many of these like our last episode, you're talking about, maybe not our last episode, but you're talking about with Liv looking at me, and you were like, you are carefree in this way. And Bekah's listening to that being like, if you only knew, because there is that like dark, broody, anxious, like depressed, like all that stuff. It's like when the sun goes down.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
That's
like when the sun's up, I'm like, hey. And then like the moment the sun goes down, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yes, just like dark. Yeah, exactly. Like all emoed out, you know, that's that Libra boy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fast.
And I always say for people too, like the reason why astrology is important is because you're part of a universe. So you do, you know, knowledge is key. The more you can know, you know, I always say every human is made up of so many things. You have DNA, you have your environment that you were raised in, you have the planets that you were born around, you know, then you have even just the food you're eating. I mean, there's so many things that are creating a human. So why not get that information? Because it's just going to help aid you in this path of this life.
Yeah.
Because life is just such an intense thing that, you know, you all the tools you can possibly have, the better. So even like when people have children, I'm like, it's great to know, you need to know what your child's birth chart is so that you can help, you know, raise them with the best, like the things that are going to work for them. So when I do readings for people, I do a lot of astrology stuff and zodiac stuff because that's going to help. I just want to give people the tools that they need so they can, you know, make the best of their life and their situation.
I think that's huge too, especially as a parent, because, you know, I feel like the boomer mentality was just like, there's one way to do things, right? The way our parents raised us. I don't know. Your parents seemed way more like aware, but like, at least my parents are like my parents' when they talk about that is like, this is how you do it. This is how life goes. And if you don't,
and that's it. Yes.
You know? And now having my own kid, you're just going like, oh, okay. If I were to apply my upbringing to my kid, it would crush her. So I have to like redo the whole manual, you know.
Well, the kids that are being born now are like kind of like every new generation has evolved. That's just science. That's just how things even evolve, like physically even. And they're like their spirits are so open and so like star children almost. Like they're said to be born with an extra sense, like a sixth sense. They could feel things. They don't even have to be like, oh, I'm a clairvoyant. They're just like, they just feel it. And that has to do with our generation's openness and, you know, probably the resistance of like boomers and stuff like that, you know?
What I'm interested in you having this your whole life, right? Doctors telling you need to be medicated, right?
Right. That I'm manic.
Everyone else, you know, that you're manic, whatever. Yeah. And then everyone else, you know, like this is like clairvoyance, medium, like this isn't like an option.
No.
Like, this isn't like, well, you could be on SSRIs, or have you ever considered that you're clairvoyant? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
never. Yes.
So even like parents or friends, no one's recommending that probably.
No way.
So how do you like stumble on to start asking yourself the question, like, wait, what is this? And could I be it?
Well, what's funny is that it's almost like it's coming out of the closet as gay was easier than coming out as saying that I can like read energy or
Where are you from?
I'm from Long Island, New York.
That's literally
You can
what
hear
I
that.
thought.
I mean, he's like, got it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is this accent. Yeah.
I love it.
And my parents are from like Brooklyn. They were like boomers from Brooklyn.
You're
like
real New York.
Yes, 100%. And I was never like shy away from this world. Like my dad would take me to mediums and stuff like that, and because he was a cop.
Wow.
Well, my dad was a detective in New York, NYPD, so he used to use mediums to help find missing kids.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Like a movie. That's not. I didn't know it was actually a real thing.
I know.
Crazy.
And my dad went in as a skeptic. I don't deal with skeptics because energy is so sensitive that I don't have time to be I'm not a religious trying to like change your opinion. If you don't want to believe it, I'm not here to change you. It's cool when it happens, but it's not my vibe. There are people so I tell people, if you're skeptic, I'll refer you to somebody else because I just don't want to deal with that. Like I'd rather work with people that are in it. They get it. We can pass the validations and just get into the work, So my dad went in as a skeptic and he was like, because he's a Scorpio and they're intense all the time. And he was like, prove to me they don't trust anyone. It's like, it's a lot, especially a Scorpio male, straight male who grew up with a born again Christian mother who was abusive to him. God. So he's like, there's no getting through to that, So he went to this medium and they blew him away. And then he would start going back to help them with missing kid things like cases. Wow. So my dad brought me my first time when I was like 18 years old. I went with him. And, so I've always been around, but I never thought I could do it. Same thing with stand-up comedy. I never thought I could do comedy. And then I was, then I was in the career performing for 10,000 people, doing TV spots, and I loved comedy, but I never thought I could do it. So with the medium stuff, I knew I could feel people's energy. Like I said, it was always just like a social thing I did. I thought maybe I used to have a little quarter named Charlie. I was like 6th grade. I felt the energy of that quarter. I know that sounds crazy.
Quarter?
A quarter, like a quarter,
coin,
like money. Yeah. And I felt the energy of it and I loved him and I just would carry him with me. And it wasn't just like a little like infant kid. It was like I was 12 years old. Like I had pubic hair. So it was like, I was really feeling this. I put him in a little jewelry box and I would sleep next to him and put him there. My mom was like, this is weird. She took the quarter. Yeah. So then I went up, so then I got a little pencil and named him Timothy. And this was in 7th grade. I had a girlfriend too. So you wouldn't, I'm like, had a girlfriend, a pencil. I was like fully stocked, but I felt the energy of it, I used to walk around with a dry erase board astrology chart thing in like 9th grade, 10th grade, and do my friends' birth charts, just hanging out,
That was way before it became
anything.
It's much more acceptable and there's more popularity behind it. But like back in the day, like that wasn't even
one.
God.
Pressing question I have that's come up, it's been coming up, was, do you feel like it helped you in your comedy career? Like, could you walk into a room with like set material and then walk in and be like, oh fuck, this is the wrong energy for this material, and then just immediately be like, now we're just
crowd work.
This. Yeah, crowd work. Here, just be like, none of these are gonna land right now. Just like you really just like pull out the other sketch, Well,
the thing is that when you're doing when I would headline, I would have to do 45 to an hour. So there is no others. You got to do.
That's what I was like.
So I would learn a way to figure out a way to make the people come to my, bring them to
side.
Come them to my side. Exactly. And that's the thing I was able to do as a kid. But that was also always part of when I was like not wanting them to figure out that I was gay or whatever. Like I would always read the people, read the room, feel their energy. And I think subconsciously just give them what they needed to like me, that's how I would figure it out. Like what did they like? What's their aesthetic energy wise? Do they like an aggressive? Do they like softer? Do they like, mystery? And then bring them that, and it was never like a fake thing. It was just whatever we all have different facets of ourselves. So you just decide, I guess it's exhausting now that I think of it. It was exhausting for me. I'm like,
very exhausting.
It's like changing yourself. To cater to other people's hard. I mean, it's super hard. I had a question about other people. So you have this gift, you have this gift and kind of a curse at the same time, right? Your whole life.
Yes, 1,000%.
Now, while you're doing it now professionally, do other people's energy make it easier or more difficult to read?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, I was going to say,
yes.
Can a shut
God.
off person make it difficult to get in, or does it not matter where it's like, no, I read you even if you hate me kind of thing?
For me, at least, it is their energy, because my main thing is like this oracle thing where, like, even when I'm talking to people, that's why I was always the friend people would come to for advice. I was always the one, I could be the best manager. I could manage anyone's career and I'll make you a star, because I know exactly, I'm able to see what will work for you. So when people would ask me things, I can feel, that feels wrong. It's like an oracle. Yes, no. I can feel, no, that's no. Or I could be like, do that, go that road. That's the path you need to be on. And then I started to learn that spirit was showing me that stuff besides just my own feelings. So I can guide everyone else. But for my own self, it was always hard to guide my own self because I'm dealing with perspective and other people's energies. So yeah, helping others has been a thing comes very easy to me. Helping myself, that's always been the task.
That makes sense. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, people that are open, the more open they are, the easier it is. But that just, I feel like that's just normal. It's like being on a telephone line. If you're on a telephone and and they're sitting there and they're holding back or throwing objects in your way, and I'm like, why is this shit staticky? Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
I'm like, I need you to be open, and there's times in a reading where I can feel that they're close, and I'll say, you have to open yourself up more, because I can feel this. Tauruses, and I'm a Taurus. Tauruses are actually my hardest to read, because there's just it's so earthy and so rooted that it's literally like pushing through mud. I've handful of times have said, I don't think this is for you. Like, there will be somebody who would be like, oh, I want my husband to do this. And he's not really a believer. Sure. He's not really, and he'll do it. And there's things that are hitting, but you could just tell that he's not really, he doesn't quote unquote buy it.
Yeah. Right. So
for me, I'm like, let's not bother. Let's not waste your money or your time. Let's just, it's okay that you don't believe in this. That's fine. It's
like a personal trainer, and the person's like, I'm just barely trying. It's like,
what do you know?
I can take your money, but you're not getting stronger. Yeah.
And I hate that. I don't want to do that. To me, I'm like, I want to help you and make a difference for you. I want you. I have people that come to me every other month, as almost like an advisor, or some will say it's better than therapy. So regardless of what it is, whether you believe or not, it's like, let me help you, let me get you the insight that I'm getting from my own self and from spirit, And there's been incredible things that have happened in some readings where I'm getting names and stuff. And I'm like, how the hell? And I'm like, how did I know that? I'm like, oh my God.
Surprise yourself. Well, I don't know. I mean, we usually do our show hour 15, and I don't know how this works, but is it possible to do a version of a session with you or a reading with you or something?
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, but let's start with I think you're both very open, right? I think that, Evan, you're very open for sure.
Yeah, it's been a journey for me, I'll be honest with you. I grew up religious, and so I've spent the last year really working through all that stuff and what that did to my mind.
Right.
So it's been a long process of trying to strip it all back and get to a place where I can actually hear and feel and be aware of things that because I went hyper religious upbringing to I don't believe in shit because of the anti
of course.
You know what I mean? So and then the journey has been finding the middle now of just I'm just willing to say yes to everything just to see what happens. You know what I mean? So that's been where I've landed.
Because I did sense that there was this journey, this thing that you have gone through where that when you just said that part, when you were like that, I didn't believe in anything. I picked up on that from you.
Yes. So that was where I was. And that's been, obviously very closed off and not the most happy place,
and that's why, because you don't do that. I was going to say, don't do that to yourself. You deserve more than that in this journey, don't close yourself off because of other experiences,
Right.
And then what about you? You're open. I think that you're a little bit, I think there's skepticism there, but I think that you're willing to be open.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So
I don't know. I'm I
think there's more skepticism, way more skepticism than Evan. That's for sure. I feel that.
That's weird.
Isn't that weird to think?
Yeah.
Like a year ago or 2 years ago when you knew me, like to think that like I'd be more open now. It's like, it feels weird you even saying that.
I'm more like, I don't know if I have like a general, like, I don't have like being like, yes, like a definitive yes, no. For me, it's more like paranormal experiences where it's like, they're real for people who've experienced it.
Right.
It's even now like with ghosts where you're like, oh, I could tell you, I believe like Evan, they have crazy ghost stories at their house, but someone who's never encountered something like that, it doesn't matter. Everyone around them could be like, no, we all have something. It's very real. And they're like, yeah, until it happens to me, it's not real.
Sure.
I'm kind of like, I'm somewhere, I don't know if I'm that person, but I'm like, I mean, like I've had ghost experiences where I'm like, yeah, that was real.
But there also is the person that then goes, really? Tell me about it. I believe you. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah. I mean, also my skepticism isn't, I wasn't raised religious or anything. I just studied religion for a long time.
Right.
And it's not even skepticism. I just despise organized institutions.
Sure.
Yes. Well, I agree with that. But this is totally something different. For me, it's more about just like connecting with you both and just letting me in, you know what I'm saying? And just like being open and not trying to like find the flaws. And, you know, like that's the thing you have to make sure you don't do, because otherwise it will affect.
I am open to connecting with you, but I am very nervous.
Don't be nervous, because here's the thing. I'm a very sensitive person, and I would never, ever bring you in a place where you are uncomfortable, or even like, like I already feel some things that I'm like, like, you know, that I just know I don't want to, I would never make you feel uncomfortable or, you know, put you on blast or anything like that.
Thank you.
You know, of course not. Yeah. I would feel
so bad. We can use it for the podcast.
Well, let me get my book then here. Okay. Cause I have a little book here that I scribble in. And this is like what I do. So this is like when I do sessions, I just scribble in this.
Oh, wow.
I so appreciate that it's just a spiral notebook.
It is great.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a regular spiral. Yeah, exactly.
Not some digital, you know, like.
No, yeah, just like a fancy, like blinged out.
Like,
no.
You could have a $35 version
leather,
of that, but that's just a Rite Aid 3.
And even my pen, look, it's just a regular big pen, you know.
Love that.
Well, because for me, I'm just like, I'd rather this is just the tool to get to it. So it's like, who needs fancy tools, you know? So here's what we're gonna do. Okay. So we're going to just do first. I want it to be more of a session where it's going to be back and forth. It's going to be open. I'm going to read energy. I'll use some spirit to get in there, you know, see who comes through. If anyone comes through, most likely, most of the times it's grandparents that happens. I was getting something about a father though. So I'm not sure if someone's father is going through anything or is passed, but there is like something with someone's dad is coming through to me. Okay. But anyway, so I want it to be very open back and forth. Let's just see what comes up and what comes out. Is that fair?
Absolutely. Sounds great.
Okay. All right, cool. So yeah, because I keep getting it with dad. Both of your fathers are alive though?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's something going on with a father though, just so you know. Nothing bad. I don't get any scary messages or anything like that. But somebody's trying to connect with one of your dads. Okay.
Got it.
So we're going to do 2 deep breaths. Okay. That's how we're going to go in through the nose, out through the mouth, and we're going to do it together. So that's how I connect, especially virtually. Okay. So we're going to do that in through the nose, out through the mouth, and I'll let you know when. So we do it at the same time, and we're going to do it twice. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So just center yourself, get a little bit, focus, get no nerves. Like I said, it's just going to be fun. Okay. All right. So I'll let you know when. All right. So the first breath now. Great. Second breath now. Okay, good. So Grayston, just so you know, you have there's a very youthful energy that you have about yourself. And I could feel it even like when we were breathing. I felt like it's almost like a little boy in church who has to hold in his laughter. not to say that that's what you would, but that's what I was feeling that inside. There's like a little boy, restless little boy inside you, just so you know. Okay.
Still there.
And, yeah, I know.
That feels very correct.
Yeah. And I thought, I was like, I even was like saying to myself, like almost like a teacher saying, put your hands under your legs, like that kind of thing. Sit on your hands. Yes. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that tracks.
But I kept with that dad thing. I kept getting this dad feeling, and it was his mother, like a grandmother that keeps wanting to speak. Who's out of both of you? Because both, usually grandparents are passed, but which grandmother passed more recently?
Dad's passed about. Oh, Dad's mom. Oh my god.
Well, it feels like it's Dad's mom. It feels like she's connecting to Dad.
Dad's mom was 15 years ago.
Okay, and what about you, Grayston?
My dad's mom is still alive, but she's like mentally declining like at a rapid pace right now. Like they just checked her into memory care.
Yeah.
And now they're like wondering if she's got more complicated health issues going on. Like she just went paralyzed from the waist down.
Okay.
So now they're suspecting like she might have a brain tumor.
Okay.
And so their relationship is also very stressed.
Right. There's
a lot of tension with my dad and all his siblings and their mother.
Man.
Okay, hold on a second. And Evan, your dad, is he going through anything right now?
My dad, yeah. I mean, again, we don't talk on that level very often, but he's definitely going through what feels like I've worked my whole life and like I am trying to get away from everything now. So he's just like, every time I talk to him, it's like he's doing something else. He's trying to go on vacation somewhere else. So he's definitely like trying to a massive shift in his lifestyle, as well as like what he's focusing on and like what he's into. And like, he definitely seems like he's
but nothing physical, right? Because I'm just trying to figure out what this dad thing is that I was picking up from either of you.
He probably wouldn't bring it up.
Okay. So let me ask you, is there a B name? There's a B name that someone showed me, a B. Okay. And they were showing it to me from Spirit. Who's the B name?
Both my brother and sister are Brennan and Brittany.
Brennan and Brittany. Okay. Oh my God. Because I was feeling like almost like a Bethany type of thing. And that could be the Brittany thing that I was picking up on. So let me just keep connecting here. Because this is a grandmother that's passed. So the grandmother that you're Grayston, it's not, I don't think it's her. So let me just see, because she's still alive. So Evan, your mom's mom, you said when did she pass?
Maybe 4 years ago now.
Oh, okay. All right. So hold on. Let me just reconnect here and see what's going on. So with your sister, Evan, right? Because they're showing me celebration symbols and like birthday and celebration, or that kind of like literally celebratory. Is she dating anyone serious or married?
Oh, she's married with 5 kids.
Okay. And do you know when her wedding anniversary is?
Oof. I don't at all. My parents just had their 40th last week.
Yeah, because they're showing me celebration and it being about the wedding anniversary.
Got it.
So your parents just had a 40th, which is that's a big one.
Yeah.
Okay. So and what was your grandmother's name on mom's side?
Novelle.
Okay. Hold on. So I want to just connect with her a little bit more.
I've never heard that.
It's like a very old school name.
That's a beautiful name, Novelle. Because they're showing me the wedding anniversary and the celebration. So that definitely has to be your parents' wedding anniversary, because that was a week ago. Okay. And when's your sister's birthday?
September.
Okay, hold on.
Time in September 16th.
Come on.
I know it's bad. We're bad that way. Our family's not like.
No, it's fine. As long as you know, like around the area. I just wanted to figure out. For me, that's like making sure that it's definitely the wedding anniversary that they're bringing up.
Yes.
Okay. So hold on. Let me just connect here. Okay. And Grayston, your mom's dad, is he passed?
Uh-huh.
Okay, because I'm getting this grandfather popping up. Hold on. And do you know if he ever did anything like, because he showed me a uniform. So a lot of times that's, sent like military or army or like one of those services. Do you know if he ever did anything like that?
Yeah, he's a World War II vet.
Okay, so let me just connect with him because he shows me that. Hold on.
And he was a train conductor.
Hold on. So he's showing me your mom, and mom is still alive, correct? Because he's showing me her being sad. There's something that's going on that she's dealing with, like sadness or depression. Not depression, but it's more of a depressive feeling that I'm getting.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. And they're going like this, like splitting. So your parents, they're still together?
Yeah.
Are they thinking of like moving or splitting up or separating, or because there's something going on there with their energy, with their relationship?
Yeah. But they're not, it's, there's tension between my parents over I'm like, I don't know. It's
right,
like a lot of personal stuff.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. So let's just, so we'll just say that they're not on the same page.
Oh, that's exactly it. There's an issue. There's an issue internally in our family, and my parents have not been on the same page for a really long time on how to deal with it.
And that they show me it's almost like the separation of that feeling, like not me. We'll just say not on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just keep going with that. Hold on. Your grandfather keeps showing me smoking and cigarettes. Do you know if he ever smoked?
Yeah, they like chain smoked like a crazy.
Literally, yeah.
And then quit. Yeah, I mean, they were the generation. My mom always has stories of like, if it was raining, they just smoked with the windows rolled up.
Right.
Wow. Like he's literally showing me that, like as like a
cigarettes, car cigarette, church cigarette, like the whole
classic 50s archetype.
Classic,
wow.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me just
her mom and dad. Like that was the,
Well, they're still doing it, like showing me that.
Nobody. Because I know he quit drinking and smoking, and then when he had Alzheimer's, and when there's a point like where it had developed where like all of a sudden he just started stocking beer again, and my mom was like, "Did you start drinking again?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?
I've never stopped.
I never quit drinking." And it was like, cool, like that memory's out.
All that work is reversed.
He's back on it. Like, here we go.
Hold on, let me see. I just want to connect to why he was showing me your mom and your dad and this, like, because they can give me an answer for this and they can give me something for that. So also they show me their house too. There's something about their home and their location that they're also still there's something about the house specifically that they, beef with. Hold on.
My parents?
Your parents, yes. There's something about the home, the home, like that house, literally the house. There's something about that they just are not on the same page with as well. Hold on. And I think now that you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Also, now that you guys are all older, now that the kids are older, that's another issue because now they don't, they're very like, it's like,
you're getting I feel like this is like a hot and cold, and like you're really hot right now.
No, I'm just feeling it. I'm just getting this feeling of I'm getting the answers and the truth of why they're going through what they're going through. So it's like now it's almost like it would be better for them. My advice from what they're showing me is to like sell that house, get something a little more quaint, a little more cozy, something they can work on, because they don't, not the fact that the kids aren't there anymore. It's like giving them, it's adding to their problems of their not being on the same page thing. Okay. They're actually at a crossroads of what they should do with their lives, basically. They're at a very different stage, by the way. They do show me harmony though at the end of this. So they're gonna have peace. They will figure it out. Hold on. The thing too with your mom is she doesn't take that seriously. Like they show me her like laughing and like kind of like, and he gets so frustrated with that,
It's all a trap.
That's so great.
Yeah. So,
I don't even know it. I'm just watching your face and I'm like, wow, this is.
Yeah, it's just they're just making me feel it, So the thing is that if mom can learn to maybe take that a little more seriously and give him his credit when the credit's due and not like just laugh at him, basically, they can have some peace and harmony there. They also need to move on from this home. The home is stressing them out. Okay.
Okay, broads, one more quick pause. I wonder almost every day, how can we put a man on the moon but have not figured out a way to talk to our pets? What's that about? I want to chat with my pets, but until we figure it out, listen, we need to find out a way to make sure our pets are happy and healthy. And if you have fur babies of your own, you have got to check out Fuzzy.
Fuzzy is a genius idea. It's a telehealth service that offers pet parents 24/7 access to personalized pet care from veterinary professionals. And Fuzzy is good for regular everyday questions like, what happens if my dog gets into a bag of Doritos and eats the whole thing? To more urgent questions or situations that need immediate answers. And Fuzzy is there for you any hour of the day, 7 days a week. But that's not all. You can also use Fuzzy to get recommended products that are perfect for your pet. I've used them for flea treatments for my cats instead of having to go to the vet and get a recommendation. This is the perfect solution. And, you can have the products handpicked by their established team of veterinary professionals. So you even get an exclusive discount that's only available to Fuzzy members.
Fuzzy has become such a game changer in my house. So we have our little dog, Ashley, and I will say that I am a very worried dog mom. Any little thing that comes up, I'm very concerned for my dog. I want to make sure that she's always okay. And so Fuzzy has become just the absolute epitome of convenience and peace of mind in my house. I know anytime I have a question, any time of day about Ashley, that I can go on Fuzzy and I'm able to talk to a vet professional and make sure we are good to go. We love Fuzzy.
And right now, Fuzzy's offering our listeners a free 7-day trial membership. So go to yourfuzzy.com/chatty to sign up today. That's a free 7-day trial and access to exclusive member discounts on things like pet meds, supplements, food, and a lot more at yourfuzzy.com/chatty. Again, yourfuzzy.com/chatty for your free trial of Fuzzy with access to 24/7 personalized pet care and also vet recommended products.
So we all want to feel the absolute best that we can, but what if you don't know where to start? Let Everlywell help you learn about your health and what changes you can make to feel great with their at-home lab tests and vitamins and supplements.
Oh my gosh, Everlywell is so great. They offer 30 at-home lab tests to choose from, really for whatever area of health you're looking to discover. There is a special test for everything. I've taken the food sensitivity test. I've also taken the women's health test. Both were really easy to use, and they give me really insightful feedback on what I'm putting into my body and what's going on inside. So instead of going to a doctor or a specialist to have these tests ordered, which is very expensive and can also be time consuming, Everlywell ships right to your door with all the supplies you need included in the package. And you take the test, you collect your sample, and you send it to the certified lab with the already included prepaid label. And the results are fast.
In just a few days, you'll have your physician-reviewed results sent to your phone, and you even have the option to share those with your primary care physician if you want to discuss next steps with them. The entire process is so easy. It's almost unbelievable. I'd always wanted to take a sleep and stress test, which measures your cortisol and other hormone levels, but I figured getting one ordered from a doctor would maybe be just too difficult. I ordered one on Everlywell, and in less than 2 weeks, I had my results. It is so simple. Over 1 million people have already trusted Everlywell to help them understand their health.
For listeners of the show, Everlywell is offering a special discount of 20% off an at-home lab test at everlywell.com/chatty. That's everlywell.com/chatty for 20% off your next at-home lab test. everlywell.com/chatty.
Also, I just saw something with marriage stuff. So, Grayston, are you married or dating?
Me and Bekah are not married.
You're not married, right? So there's the marriage stuff coming up around you and Bekah, okay? And that's what they're showing me. That's the next big thing in your life and what you guys are figuring out. And it's not just Bekah wanting to marry you or you want to marry. It's both of you are kind of just very like, do we do this even? So there is this thing, and you, I think, might be a little bit, there's a holdup inside you. But I think it's both because you're just kind of like, I don't even know if it's necessary. But I think it's coming. So if you've been thinking about it, I don't want to ruin
All
any.
tracks.
Okay. I don't want to ruin
wrong.
anything. Yeah. I want to see pictures of the wedding. Okay.
Oh, you will.
I
You
think
will.
it's going to happen. It's happening. But I see that around you.
There will be pictures. I can
Yes.
guarantee that.
Like that's one thing you
There's
could
going to be
guarantee.
a lot of pictures. Yeah.
Okay. Also, hold on a second. Grayston, sorry to be so Grayston heavy. But
No.
I'm just, I want to connect over here for a second too. They're showing me something with your leg, the calf area, the leg area. Was there ever any like injury or issue that you were having with that part of your leg?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's coming up for me.
That's terrifying.
I'm bleeding over.
I know.
You're fine though. I wanted to say that earlier, whatever health thing or whatever thing that you were like nervous about or thing that, because I think it's also a neurological thing that you're like concerned about or nervous about, you're fine. Like, don't worry about it. The leg thing, did that happen when you were younger?
Yeah, when I was in college, we were talking about this. I broke my patella in half.
Uh-huh.
And then that
the same thing I had?
We were talking about this.
Oh,
we were talking about basketball. I hit my knee really hard against someone else's knee.
Right.
Mine was the weaker knee, I guess. And it literally it broke my kneecap in half.
Right.
It had a line on the x-ray. There's like a clear line just straight through it.
Yeah. I sense that.
Yeah. And then I couldn't walk for like 6 months, but that was coming off of like, a lifelong, just life sports nonstop to then being like, oh, now I can't walk. And then rehabbing that took so long. I don't think I've ever actually fully recover. I don't think, mentally. I think it's more like right now, physically.
And that's what I was going to say. That's what I think brings me to your mind.
I don't think I've ever been able to commit as physically in sports since that happened. Cause it like changes when you start walking or like doing like I'm free climbing 15, 20 feet, falling, the thought of falling uncontrolled onto my leg, or how much pressure I put on it is very real to me.
So that could be why I was connecting to your brain and your mind and your worries and stuff about the neurological thing, because it could actually just be that I was connecting to that leg thing has kind of like trickled into a mental thing for you. And that was maybe why they were showing that to me, to bring up to you that you're fine. Like, you can put the pressure on your leg and your knee. Don't worry about it. That's been more mental for you. Okay. Also, Evan, with you, your gut area, you have to work on that. Okay. Not your gut, like the gut, your food, whatever you're eating, whatever you're like, you might need some probiotics, some stuff in the gut area. So have you ever noticed that you could have like some stomach issues at times?
Yeah. Like it'll be random, but it'll be severe. So I'll be totally good. And then I'll eat, and then I'll just be like for 3 days, like my stomach.
It's a trigger. So that's why I think it's the food. There's certain foods you have to figure out what your triggers are, because that's your weak area, is the gut area.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one thing that like bothers me regularly.
Yeah.
Is like
3 days.
Oh yeah. I'll just be fine. And then I'll just like have something at dinner and go to bed and wake up. And then like for the next 3 days, I'm just like, in knots. I don't feel good. And like, and then
so
I don't even know what it was. Just like,
but start tracking that, because they're showing me the spirit is that's that area. You can't let that, you have to figure out what your triggers are and not do that, because that's affecting your stomach, and that could affect other things too.
It's a long time.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
It's like when a dog eats like a whole animal.
Yeah. No, I'll just be like upset for like 3 days. Yeah.
It's like when, you're like, what did my dog eat? Like a dead rat?
Right.
Now they're
a whole cushion.
Fucking curled up on the ground, like moaning for days.
I'm not like that. It's just I kind of lose my appetite, or I feel weird. I kind of just feel my stomach's kind of like gross for like a couple days, and then it'll slowly go away.
Try to track what you're eating when that happens, or what you had eaten. Okay. Because that's where you're, because also, did you ever there's something about like medications or antibiotics or anything like that? I mean, we've all taken antibiotics, but there's something about a certain time when you took antibiotics that triggered some imbalance in your gut.
I mean, you could be right. I haven't taken antibiotics in years, but
back then,
I did. I mean, I don't know. It's possible, because I had a weird stint in my early 20s where I had a sinus infection for like what was basically like 3 years.
And
I was always on Z-Packs and stuff like that, and always doing that. And so it's possible just that I was taking so many over time
so
that
bad
fucked
for
me
you.
up. You know what I mean?
Well, just so you know, that time period when you were doing that messed up the imbalance. And so just try to get your gut flora, your probiotics, try to get that back in balance, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, Grayston, I keep seeing something about like this traveling that I don't know if it's you or your dad, but they keep showing me something with you about the traveling that you're going to be doing more of, or you want to do more, but you're having this urge to like travel and to get out and to like do more traveling.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And you're just being pulled back, but for some reason, there's something holding you up.
Yes.
Okay. Don't let that frustrate you, and don't let that get in the way of your relationship either. Okay.
Okay.
Because it's becoming a little bit of a frustration for you.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me just keep going here. I'm just going to look at both of you again and connect. Whew. All right. Do any of you know and with names, it's really tricky. So it's either they'll show me the name to get the first initial, or they're showing me the name literal, but I'm getting like a Susan or a Suze, like a SU. I'm getting that name.
That's my mom's name.
Okay. So let me connect to you then.
Susan?
Susan.
Yeah. It felt more like it was the literal name. That's why I went into that description of that. So let me see who's talking about Susan.
Fuck you up, huh?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. So hold on.
I mean, that's like so specific and so not like a normal name even too.
No, I don't know anything about you. You texted me yesterday to do this. I don't know.
You get tingles when he's focusing on you.
It was interesting.
Like goosebumps.
No, I just get the like. Was it more interesting? Like because he was, when I was watching it happen with you, that's when I was just kind of like able to sit back and just be like kind of watching it, and then that freaked me out.
Do you ever get like when someone's like, "Here, I'm going to draw you,"
right?
And then there's that feeling of when they're drawing, like when someone's energy's focused on you, and you feel like all like buzzy a little bit.
And you have to remember, I feel that too coming. So that's why I do the breathing in the beginning, so we could like relax, so that I could, because I'm breaking quantum physics, so I have to really like stay connected.
I feel when he is focused on me,
looking inside of your bones.
And that's why straight men, especially, a lot of times have more issues doing this than with women, because you poor things are so like. I don't know if we got to start teaching straight boys, or just boys in general, how to be comfortable with their feelings, their emotions, uncomfortability. I think straight men are actually more sensitive than anyone, like you guys are the most sensitive, and it's adorable. That's why I love straight boys. They're just so cute. I can't.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
You're sensitive.
Yeah, I'm not you. You are.
I want to go to this person who showed me Susan though. Is your grandpa, your mom's dad, is he alive or passed?
No, he passed. He's the most recent passing.
Yes, because
he's a year and a half ago.
He's showing me right now. He's the one coming up. So let me just see what he's saying. All right. So he's obviously bringing up your mom. He keeps showing me her heart. Nothing wrong with it. I don't get like scary messages like that. But there's this in that area. He's just saying that she might be dealing with anxiety, and it's making like putting pressure on her heart. Okay, so do you know anything about that?
Oh yeah, my mom, when I was about 12, 13, had a full blown mental breakdown.
Yeah,
and has been medicated ever since, and severely, like mentally struggles, and basically is in a constant state of
anxiety.
Oh, anxiety, depression, but it's also like full blown diagnosed chemical. Like she was never the same person after that, and so she's always struggled with that at a very, very high level. That pretty heavy on the family and pretty heavy on the upbringing. So that's been a very heavy thing for sure.
Well, grandpa shows me that area, the heart, it could be even like just like blood pressure, or just like she's putting a lot of that anxiety that she has. It puts a lot of strain on her heart. So her blood pressure has to be dealt with. She has to make sure she's maintaining that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. There's childhood trauma there for your mom, just so you know. Okay. She's got like some childhood trauma.
That is absolutely the case.
Yeah. Because grandpa's acknowledging that. Okay, hold on. That's where a lot of her issues come from what she experienced as a kid. It wasn't the most like easy environment.
Not at all.
Okay. So I want to have more empathy for mom. I want to have more like, do people lack empathy for her? Do they? I think that there's a feeling of maybe we're at a point where they don't show her. She needs more empathy. She needs more understanding. People are just kind of left at this point where they're not really seeing that it was a rough childhood for her.
You know what? That really checks out.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of my family is very interesting. There's a lot of crazy dynamic there. The relationships are not. There's a lot there, and so I would say, I mean, just for me personally, you saying be more empathetic to my mom is really interesting to me, and is challenging in that way.
And you probably needed to hear that today.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, it's something I haven't really thought about when I process my mom, is that I need to be more empathetic toward her childhood. It's like, that makes sense.
Yeah. And grandpa's the one who showed me that. So that's insight that you need to take. Try to change your perspective on how you're dealing with mom and watch things. She just needs that. She'll be actually better. She'll be a little better if she can get some of that.
Okay.
Also, just to switch real quick, Grayston, I keep getting kids around you. Okay. That's another thing too. I keep getting 2 children around you. So I don't want to go into anything personal or anything in the past or anything, but there's these 2 child souls around you. Okay. And I'm going to assume that either in the past, maybe there might have been some kids that didn't come through, like maybe there were abortion or miscarriage or anything like that, but they're around you. Okay. And if you and Bekah decide to have children, then those kids will come through. But there's definitely some heaviness around that for you both. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Are you going to speak?
I was just waiting for him to finish because I was like,
you understand? I kept getting hit with that, and I was trying to kind of ignore it because I was like, this feels too personal. It feels like a whole thing, but I just couldn't. I had to tell you that. Okay. But let me see if I can get resolution, some kind of answer there for that. Here's the thing. Hold on. Again, there's tenseness. Every time I think about it for you, there's like this tenseness with that. Let's not even go into it. Let's just leave that for now. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. If you want, you could text me side later and ask me that. Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm just along for this. There's a lot of things that it brings up for me. Like,
but not even personally. You could just tell them that you have.
You could tell me.
Well, I mean, like I have.
Oh, you do have children on Earth already that I'm feeling?
Okay, so I thought you knew that we had
that's
kids.
what I'm getting at.
No, I don't know anything.
You said that you decide to have children.
I have 2 kids with Bekah.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. I have no idea.
I'm like, how is this not being talked about?
Because when he was talking about aborted kids, my brain was somewhere totally different. I was like, that's brought up questions I've had of I had a lot of unprotected sex in college.
Oh, understood.
And
that's why. So yeah, I was feeling the 2 kids around you, and it felt connected to you and Bekah, but I don't know anything about people's lives before it.
I don't know. This is what that's why I was like, it could be either miscarried kids, aborted kids, or I honestly didn't know physically if you had children. Well, that's what Earth. I don't know either. Was like I had brought up questions with past girlfriends from college where I was like, I mean, I've purchased Plan B with like a couple girlfriends before, but I was like, I've never gone through a full blown abortion. And then one of my girlfriends was like, you don't know that. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I don't know that. And there's a chance someone probably did and just didn't say anything.
Got it.
So I've always wondered, be like, holy shit. Like, could there be, when you said that, I was like, are there like these like,
well, there could be. I mean, here's the thing. There could be. I just kept feeling 2 children around you. Every time I kept connecting, I just kept feeling them around you.
Well, I have 2 kids.
Yeah. Okay. So
I was on a surface level. I was like, hey,
that's always
tell them you have 2 kids.
That's always been an unsettling thought for me.
Oh, sure. That's a side thing for sure.
So I was like, I don't know what I want to
talk about. But here's the thing. But let me just say this, though. Let me just say this. There are things that can be multifaceted. So I was feeling that there was anxiety about kids that abortion and miscarriage. Okay. there was a thing that I was picking up that from you, that energy from you. So, and then you said that is a thing that you have felt that or have felt that in the past.
Oh, got it.
But then I was feeling actual presence up to when Bekah was in the play, like when I was like feeling her, I was feeling actual kids with her. So for me, that's how I have to eliminate, because I'm getting different messages about different things. And I don't know, I don't look at people's Instagrams or anything. So I don't know. So, and then this is how the readings go too. Cause it's like in my brain, I'm like, well, they're not married. So probably they won't have the kids. So it's probably the aborted kids or the miscarried kids.
Well, and then there's also conversations about more kids.
Yes.
And that's
why I was feeling also that those kids will come through. So those kids, just so you know, I do feel that there is something going on with you and Bekah about having another child, but I do feel that there is also you having anxiety about possible past kids that didn't come through onto Earth. Okay. There's a whole lot going on there with kid stuff for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't think that you necessarily want to have another child. So that's how I feel about that.
That is also how I feel right now.
Yeah. So that's why I'm picking up on this energy about the kids in general, the 2 children. I think that that's enough for you. I think that, in my opinion, I think that those were surprises for you as well. Like, I think that because of this past that you may have had, that plays a little bit of your fears or your anxieties about it, or your feeling about not having any more kids. But there was a lot to it. That's why I was like, if you want to talk, you can text me later about it and we'll talk, because there's more things in there that it's like, it's personal between you and Bekah. So I'm not going to bring that out,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me just keep going. But I do feel that heavy in your energy. Okay. And it's at this point too, where Bekah, in what they're showing me now, is like, well, if it's going to happen, it's got to happen sooner than later. Okay.
Joy.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to figure that out sooner than later. Okay. So let me keep going. Okay. So back to Evan with your grandfather, because he's not done with your mom. There's something about them. I don't know if this is your home there's something like hold on, like an old foundation that we're getting. There's an old foundation, and it's either your mom, where your mom is living, or your home right now. Hold on. I keep getting like cracks on the floor and like fall, like some kind of like falling or an accident or like accident bound. Okay. So if it's your home, if there's like cracks on the floor somewhere or something that needs to be redone or taken care of, I would fix that, because they're showing me like someone falling or like an accident happening.
Well,
what's going on? Oh my God. So it's too late.
It's too late. I should have talked to you 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So what happened there?
Well,
I felt the falling.
It wasn't at the home, but 2 weeks ago I snapped my patellar tendon in half and had to get like emergency surgery.
How did you do that?
Playing, it was on uneven ground.
Yeah, and you found it was falling
like on asphalt, and it was like on uneven ground, and it slipped out, and then it broke.
So that's what they were showing, because I kept seeing the cracks and unevenness on the floor. So that's why I was like, I'm not sure if it's your house, your mom's house, but there's grandpa's showing me that.
But it's where I work a lot.
So
it's like a place that I'm at constantly.
Yeah. But no, they were just showing me that ground area. So that's, I was, this is like interpreting. I'm trying to like interpret what they show me. Okay. So yeah, so they were trying to give me a warning for you about that. So
little late, guys.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's so crazy because I can't see that way.
That is crazy.
Yeah. And it was directed at you. So your grandfather, by the way, did you know your grandfather, mom's dad? Because he says he has regrets. There's regrets about how he was, or how he expressed himself, especially. And he wants to apologize to the family, basically. Does that make sense?
100%. Super closed off, war vet guy, extremely not emotionally available.
His communications, that's what he's apologizing for. His communication, the way he communicates.
Yeah, he was not involved in our lives barely at all. And my mom, and there's a lot of trauma there, and a lot of
your mom too. Yeah, every time I think of your mom, I almost want to cry.
She's got a ton of stuff with her parents that's really hard, and she's talked about it a lot.
And grandpa's trying to like, and he's showing me butterflies. So if your mom ever sees like butterflies randomly or is connected with butterflies, just let her know that that's grandpa using them as symbols, as signs.
Mm.
The way signs work, I explain to people, it's not that they aren't the butterfly. Like, look at me, I'm grandpa. Like what they're doing is the brain has electricity. So they can basically use our brains like a remote control car. And they could make you look at something at that time. So when you see like numbers or clock or stuff like that, all they're doing is making you look at that moment, like a remote control. So they're not creating the butterfly. The butterfly was created through whatever insect sex is going on out there. They're just making you look and see it. Okay.
Got it.
So tell her to keep an eye for butterflies from grandpa. Okay. Okay, good. There's a white dog that I'm seeing. It's a white dog. I'm getting a dog that's like there's a big dog and it feels white. It could be that's an angel now, and that's why I'm seeing it as white, but it's like a big dog that I'm seeing, a white, and it feels white. It feels angelic.
Mm.
Grayston, do you have a big dog?
We had a horse.
Was it white?
Yeah. It was an all white horse.
Okay. And it feels big to me. That's why. So it literally could be that. And it passed away, that horse?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm seeing this. It felt like it was like a big white. I saw it as a dog, but it was white was the main thing that was showing me.
Mm-hmm. She was like all like vibrantly white Arabian horse.
Yeah. Like the white is the main thing jumping out at me. And it felt big.
That's interesting you say that because that could be a double connect because of Boris.
And who's Boris?
My dog is like a light fawn dog. He's 230 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
He just passed away 3 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. And he was like my dog for 10 years. And it was like really fucking hard, you know?
I can. I get it. So let me see what's going on here with this. The birthday. There's a birthday around it. Do you remember when? And do you remember when your dog's birthday was? You probably don't remember when the horse's birthday was.
The horse's name was Birthday.
Yeah. That's why I literally just saw birthday. They said birthday. I'm like, what's with birthday? And usually, it's funny is I usually get a birthday cake as a symbol for someone's birthday, but I saw the word birthday. Wow.
That was her name.
What?
So then it's the horse. I wish I was hoping it was the dog, but it's not. It's the horse.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. I literally saw the name Birthday. Well, just so you know, the horse is around you, and I'm getting goosebumps from spirit. So they're like really connected. This horse, for some reason, lets you know, and it's just around you. Wow. Okay. That's an interesting name, Birthday. That's really cool.
It was my birthday present for my mom.
Oh,
so she named her Happy Birthday.
Oh, yeah, birthday. I saw the word. All right, perfect. We'll let mom know maybe that the horse is around.
That would make her very happy.
Yeah, I was going to say I felt like that something would become good of that. All right, good. And two, now that I connect back to your mom again and thinking of your mom and your dad, they really need to get rid of this house. So if they ever talk about that, just tell them to do it. Like it'll benefit them. I don't know if it's because there's too much of it, too big, but they keep showing me smaller. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So send them.
I mean, they have a huge property up in Topanga Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
And we're constantly like, this whole canyon's going to light on fire. Sell it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, get rid of it. Yes.
Sell it now. Like me and my dad are on that. And my mom's like hung up on this being like this generational thing of like this summer camp that the kids get to go to.
Sure, I get that.
Because I mean, they're in LA and they have horse corrals in their backyard, like we had in Arizona. Or like my mom was raised on a farm in Indiana,
so she's like so emotionally tied.
She
to that.
Loves having land, big land, and like I value that too. Like I think it's super cool. It's amazing, but it's also like it's gonna light on fire.
Yeah,
like,
well, they're showing me.
We're in Cal, like, that's how, like, kind of me, my dad, like all this. And then, anytime it's like, if we talk about selling the property, my mom's like
triggered,
but they have multiple houses. So there's also,
I was just going to say, I was just going to say, they're saying to go towards either the smaller, cozier home with property. They're saying you just spend your time on the smaller, cozier and it has property too.
Yeah.
They're saying to get rid of this place.
They don't need this massive.
They keep pushing me to tell you that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let me just keep going. So let me just see. I want to give Evan a little more here. So mom's mother, alive or passed?
Passed.
I get there's something very, remember when I went, when I connected with her, there's something very like, I feel bad for her too. There's something like where she's a little fragile to me, but there's like this like feeling of like I don't think she ever was, if she was able to express her feelings or herself or what she was going through. But I feel bad for your mom, your grandma. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like there's just this, like, she just holds, I get this little energy. Okay.
Yeah. She, it's funny. My grandpa's like old school, hardened war vet, no emotion. You know what I mean? Just like classic archetype of like emotional availability, zero. My grandma was like a mystic and like, very spiritual and very that way. But she was like also like almost monkish in that she would go to 30 days silent retreats.
Yes, that's what I'm feeling. That like small. Yeah. She would make herself smaller, even.
Super small. She even was a small person. Super small, very fragile person.
Like tiny and fragile.
Tiny, and she would just be gone for like a month at a time, getting away from everybody and like doing her own thing. So she was always kind of.
Yeah, because she couldn't express herself around all these other humans, these regular humans. She couldn't express herself properly. And I literally saw her as little and fragile and like this like soft energy, but she couldn't get it out.
Right.
It probably wasn't received or welcomed in her environment at all.
Not at all.
Also, grandma says to me to tell you not to be afraid to take more chances. You're having issues with taking chances. Okay. So for whatever that means, there's something that you're holding yourself back. I feel like there might be some bigger opportunities that you're not allowing yourself because you seem to be you do things, but you also are afraid to take the bigger risks. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm talking about? So it's like you're able to accomplish stuff, but you do it in a safer way. You need to take bigger risks. Don't be afraid to take bigger risks, grandma says, because you do have a light. There is a light. Which means that you do get things. Things do come easy for you, but you like to still play it a little safe.
That tracks.
Okay, so just don't be afraid to take bigger chances. And also, I think there might be a little bit of a move with you and Jess too. That's happening.
We've been talking about that a lot.
Yeah, well, that's good. They're saying that could also be part of the taking chances thing. They're saying to do it.
Okay.
All right. Whew. Okay. So, Grayston, I'm just going to give you one last thing before I wrap up here. You're a very sweet soul, just so you know. Okay. And I think that somewhere along the lines, I don't know why you might have toughened yourself up or maybe put up more guards or gates, but your natural self is a very gentle, sweet soul. And I think maybe you were around masculinity a lot when you were younger, or there was just this masculine environment around you, but you are a lot more gentler and sweeter than you're allowing your capabilities to be. Do you understand what I'm talking about with that sweetness? Okay. It's almost like you need to cry. It's almost like someone told you you're not allowed to cry, or that, like there's something about that, like being afraid to cry, but you're a crier. It's in there. You like it. Let it out. Okay. Don't hold that shit in. There's a lot of there's almost like a deep sadness inside you. Did you deal with depression when you were younger, or like sadness? Because there's a sadness that you've suppressed and have buried inside you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to hug you and like tell you, you need that. Like it's almost like, all jokes aside, like Bekah needs to hold you and hug you. And you need that a little bit. You need like almost like you need a therapy session to let it all out. You've suppressed it. I think it happened when you were younger. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like there's well, we're exploring therapy now.
Good. You're on the right track.
Yeah. I think
you got to be more vulnerable. Let it out. It's a deep sadness inside you. And that sadness eventually will just like brew and like it'll get bigger and bigger and darker and just hold back your experiences, you know? So if you decide, if and when you do therapy, that's the thing to focus on, is the deep sadness and how to get rid of that burden, how to get rid of that sadness. You have to address it, where it came from, learn to explore it and love it, and then let it out. So you're going to have a cry session. You're going to need to cry, because I feel that. I feel like I will sometimes want to cry when I connect to that. Okay?
Okay.
All right, boys. I think that's good for now.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for both being open. I know you came from sort of a skeptic place and a little bit of your, and I'm glad. Thank you for being open and not making it super. You were open enough, which was really nice, and I appreciate that.
That was.
Yeah. What did you feel?
It was pretty surreal. Mm-hmm. I've never done this before. I don't know if you have, but
no, I've never done anything like this before.
Nothing like this before. And
I did the past life regression. Actually, that was
right.
That's fun.
Same thing of like you have to be open to it, but yeah, like it lingers. I remember I thought about that for like weeks.
Oh yeah,
fact.
Yeah.
And I tell people too, a lot of times, like I'll tell people to like take notes and stuff. So when people do like a personal session and it's more one-on-one, it really gets intimate and I can really open you up and really like get in there. And people take notes. And a lot of times people will reach out to me later and text me and be like, oh my God, I know exactly what that means now. And that resonated, or they'll talk to their family members and then they'll be like, oh yeah, no, that was your uncle, like whoever,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, I think the thing that's like interesting about this, and for me personally, when I think about just the spiritual journey that I've been on, and someone who's been so closed off for so long, and then trying to kind of open it back up, and is that like these experiences, like if I would have done this 3 years ago, I would have just been the whole time thinking about like, instead of how did he know this?
Right.
How could he? What could he have Googled? All that kind of stuff. Like being more interested in what you're saying, and then because of that, like having it penetrate.
Of course, yeah.
Like powerful. Like thinking about like even you just talking about my mom's empathy. It's like,
or her name,
but you know what I'm saying? I would have been like, well, he could have found it. I just would have gone down that road and then not been hearing what you were trying to say.
Exactly. And that's why I tell people, and that's also why I say, if you're a skeptic, don't bother, because you're going to waste your time missing what I'm telling you. And the experience sitting there, it's like, what a shitty person I would be if I sat there and Googled and then came within, so it's like, and I say to people, why would you bother? You couldn't have
found it. Like there's no way.
Or even the horse birthday. I mean, how would I know anything about a big white animal with named birthday? And it's like, but at the same time, I tell people, just for your own self-integrity, why would you reach out to somebody who's there's even a 1% chance that he was Googling, because that's an awful person to do that, Or like, that's why like I'll take personally skeptics, because I'm like, wow, I know you don't know me, but how shitty of a person do you know what I'm saying, would I be to like do that, and I know that those people exist, and I know that this world is ugly, but that's why I say let's only use our time to like experience these cool things,
That's more what I'm getting at is like, if I'm like talking to anyone out there who is, was closed off, all these things, it's just like worst case scenario, nothing happens.
Exactly.
Best case scenario, you have an amazing experience that really alters your life. And I guess for me, like that's been something that I've been really trying to change. Which is like, so I've been working with this. He's not even really a therapist. He's more almost like a guru type guy, but like he's just a guy that's changed my life and changed a couple of friends of mine's lives. And he's done things to me, like we've talked about things, and there was as a really small example was my dog passed, and this dog was like massively meaningful to me, like 10 years. He was like my best friend, my homie, everything. He passed. It was really hard. And he told me that like some practices believe that, when someone dies, you can still kind of reach out to them for like 60 to 90 days or something like that. He said something like that. And my previous self would have just been like, that's absolutely insane. Like, what are you even talking about? But I opened myself up to the experience, and I just started talking to him every day. you know, and I would just like break down, and it was so meaningful. And then it allowed me to like move on and like, you know, think about him, and then also like not have it be just like a weight, but actually like a loving, you know, I don't know. It was just so,
like
it was
a beautiful experience.
Beautiful experience I had talking to him every day after he passed. And it was just so funny because it's like, there's no way in hell my old self would have even allowed myself to go there. And because I allowed myself to go there, I had a beautiful experience.
Yes.
And I wasn't bogged down in the trying to figure out how it actually works, or the proof or the non-proof or all that stuff.
Yeah, it's such a waste. Yeah, it's like such a waste, you know?
Yeah.
And you now have that, you know, you have that tool. That's what it is. And I've worked with people too, where it's like I'm working on helping them grow as a human being using my insight and my intuitions. And like with you, Grayston, like with the therapy thing, like I'll tell people, listen, take this insight and bring it to therapy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not someone who's like, oh no, therapy is bad. I'm the one who's right. I'm just a little part of a tool that you can use to help give you some insight, because you know what? There is other things, consciousnesses going on. I know it for a fact, because like I said, when it's real intimate, I mean, right now we got a podcast, we got mics, we got, you know, so there's a lot happening, but when it's one-on-one, there's really more opening up and insight and stuff happening. And it's fucking mind blowing. You know, it really is. And I'm very authentic and transparent. I'll be mind blown too in sessions too, where I'm like, oh my God, how did, you know, like such specific details in some of the sessions, you know? So it's really just, it's a beautiful thing. And that's why I was like, thank you for letting me let you experience this, because I usually shut any skeptics down, to be honest. So, you know, thank you for opening up, because that showed me too, that maybe I should be more open to people who are a little bit on the fence. You know,
that was awesome. Appreciate you.
That was really
thank you.
Or cool, really.
That was really cool. Yeah. Well, before you go, can we at least plug you, or can you plug yourself?
Please.
Tell us people where to find you, how to get your services, comedy, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So they can check me out on Instagram. It's ThomasDale5. My website for, if you want to book a session with me, it's right in the bio. It's qandthomas.com. They can just click that and they'll just be sent to my website, and it'll send me just your first name and cell phone number. And then I'll reach back out. You can hit me up on Instagram as well. If you want to block your profile so I don't see things, go for it. I just like people to be comfortable and this way they can come to a session really like feeling, all right, this is going to be great. So it's like, mostly anonymous, which is silly, but you know, I like to set it up that way. Just hit me up on Instagram, either way, however you want. It's ThomasDale5 or qandthomas.com.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for reaching out and having me do this. I appreciate it, because I had such a great time with the girls when we first spoke.
Yeah.
They were so fun, and I just absolutely fell in love with them. And now I fall in love with you both. You're so adorable.
You're amazing. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Good luck on your journey down in the South.
Yeah, I'll be back in LA probably to 2023, but right now I'm just letting my energy absorb the mountains and see what happens. And I'm probably get back into comedy with this new voice and perspective. I want to merge the two and reach out to audiences. So we'll see what the journey brings.
Amazing. Well, when you come back, hit us up. It'd be awesome to do another one in person.
Yeah. I would love to come in. That would be beautiful. I would like that.
Wild.
That'd be cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys
so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Whew.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was powerful.
It makes me want to do the one-on-one.
Yeah. 100%.
Just
in
to be
person
like,
too.
dude, if in that short amount of time, those are the things that are coming up, and then just be like, if you had 100% of the attention for like an hour.
Yeah.
It'd be very intense.
It'd be intense. Yeah. I just felt encouraged in my own personal journey of like the whole shutting off and the whole like not being open thing that I've been really working on the last year, to like allow that experience to happen. I felt like this was a meaningful experience, and I felt like everything he said really connected with me in a way that I feel like it wouldn't have in the past. So it was definitely super insightful.
You're growing.
And the way that he did it was really, I don't know, it just felt,
well, it's very
it cut
easy.
Through. Yeah, that's more.
It's very easy. I think like he has the right attitude for me and you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Especially to be like, make this feel very approachable, and like, there's no, I don't know. There's like, for even like saying I was nervous in the beginning, it's like I felt pretty comfortable the whole time, because it's like, oh, you just kind of sit there.
Right.
And just like when he's asking you the question, just give him the answer to the question, and just kind of yeah, it was a lot.
And what I also like about him too is that he's really fucking funny.
Totally.
So it allows you to relax too. He's not, it's not super serious. It's
you
kind
get
of
the break too. Like it allows it to like break some of the tension or the seriousness. And then because he has that background too, he rolls with that really well.
Yeah.
But yeah. Whew.
Yeah, that was really good.
I mean, so, and how are we supposed to go to work now?
That's a good point. It's like now we're supposed to just be like, all right, guys, it's time to work hard. It's like, no, I just want to think about everything he said.
Yeah,
and
I know. Just like,
I
just want to drive for a while.
Yeah. And just
chill.
We need to call our moms.
Be like, go meditate in the desert and call my mom.
We both need to call our moms apparently.
Yeah.
And then discuss some things. Someone needs to get rid of a house. Someone needs some sympathy.
Those are like things where I'm like, some of the stuff is better left. Like we can talk about it, but I don't know if I'll confront my mom about selling my house.
Right. You're like, I don't think I want that.
Dude. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. I know we did a lot. I felt like really, I don't know. I felt like we both felt seen and there was definitely like a lot of really great insight there.
It was very special and spiritual.
Yes.
We want to bless our listeners with a spiritual weekend.
You guys don't shut off. Be open to love, connection, spirituality.
Yeah, don't close those gateways, you guys.
Open the gates.
Open the stargates, you guys, to your ancestors, to I don't know,
your grandparents,
spirits. Allow them to rise. Infiltrate. Imagine if all the spirits just froze.
Everyone rose up. All the dead rose.
Yeah. Imagine that for this weekend. If the dead rose.
You guys, while you're just trying to rest, imagine billions of dead people rising from the dead.
If we all opened our spiritual gateways, maybe we could do that. And that would be a weekend to remember.
It absolutely would. So guys, manifest all the dead people rising.
All of them.
It'd be insane, but it'd be a fun summer.
One heck of a party.
Well, we love you guys. Have an amazing weekend. We're going to meditate on this vibe. We are going to take it into our weekend, and we hope you do the same. And hit him up for sessions.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
It was really fun.
Yeah. All right. Love you guys. Chat soon.
Bye.